Welcome to my channel, Safety Net.
All right, let's dive in. We're talking about something super important today, something that can honestly feel a little overwhelming, and that's the professional workplace risk assessment. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down into a blueprint that's actually easy to follow. Ready? Let's do this. So, let me ask you something. Think about where you work, your desk, the shop floor, wherever it is. Just take a second and picture it. How safe is it? Really? It's one of those things we just assume is fine, right? But you'll see pretty quickly that the little details, well, they matter a whole lot more than you might think. And this is why. This number, it's a tough one to look at. 2.78 million. That's how many people worldwide are estimated to die from work-related issues every single year. I mean, that's just staggering, isn't it? It really hammers home how critical it is to get this stuff right. Okay, I know that number is heavy, so let's bring it back to something a bit more manageable. A good way to think about a risk assessment is it's basically a health checkup for your workplace. That's it. It's all about getting ahead of the game, spotting problems before they become, well, real problems for the people you work with. So, here's what we're going to cover. First, why this even matters. Then, how to find those hidden dangers. We'll get into evaluating and controlling risk, putting a plan into action, and finally keeping things safe for the long haul. Simple as that. All right, section 1. Why do risk assessments matter? Let's get right into it because this is so much more than just paperwork. So what's the big deal? Well, the most important thing, obviously, is that it prevents people from getting hurt. It saves lives. But beyond that, you've got legal compliance, keeping you out of trouble. It saves a ton of money by preventing accidents. And maybe most importantly, it boosts morale. It shows your team that you actually care, and that goes a long, long way. Okay, on to section 2, finding the hidden dangers. This is where we get practical, because, you can't fix a problem if you don't even know it exists. It's all about learning to see things differently. So first things first, let's get a couple of key definitions down. What's a hazard? Super simple. It's anything that could cause harm. It's the physical thing. A wet floor, a cable you could trip on, a bottle of some chemical. That's the hazard. And then there's risk. Risk is a little different. It's not the thing itself, it's the chance that the thing will actually hurt someone. So it's about likelihood. Is it a high chance, a low chance? That's the risk. Let's put it this way. The hazard is the thing. The risk is the chance of harm from the thing. So that cable on the floor, that's the hazard. The high chance that someone's going to trip on it and break an arm, that's the risk. Getting this difference is like step 1 to doing this right. It's so important. All right, section 3. We found the hazards. Now what? Now we get to the fun part, figuring out how serious the risks are and what on earth we're going to do about them. This is where the strategy comes in. And professionals, they follow a pretty standard 5-step process. 1, find the hazards. We just talked about that. 2, figure out who could get hurt and how. 3, evaluate those risks and decide what to do. 4, write it all down. And 5, review and update it. We're going to really focus on step 3 now. Okay, so you've got a list of risks. How do you know where to start? Because you can't do everything at once. Well, that's where something like this, a risk matrix, is a lifesaver. It's super simple. You just ask 2 questions. How likely is it to happen? And how bad would it be if it did? Something that's really likely and really severe, that's your number 1 priority, that top right box. Something low, yeah, that goes to the bottom of the list. Now that you know what to tackle first, how do you actually fix it? This is your go-to toolkit. It's called the hierarchy of controls. And the golden rule here is you always start at the top. Always. Why? Because completely getting rid of a hazard is always, always better than just giving someone a helmet and hoping for the best. You only work your way down this list when the better options just aren't possible. Okay, section 4. You've done the hard work. You've done the analysis. You've picked your solutions. But none of it means anything if it just sits in a folder. Now it's time to actually make it happen. Yeah, this really says it all, doesn't it? A risk assessment sitting on a shelf protects no one. It's not a trophy you put away. It's a tool you have to use. Simple as that. And when you write it down, it should look something like this. This isn't just a list of what's wrong. It's a to-do list. It needs to say what the hazard is, who it could hurt, what you're going to do about it, and this is the most important part, who is going to do it and when it needs to be done by. That's how you get accountability. And that brings us to our last section. We found the problems, we figured them out, we've made a plan.
But we're not done, because safety isn't something you just finish. It's something you have to keep doing.
The real goal here isn't just to do a safety task, it's to build a safety culture. Your risk assessment can't be a dusty old document. It has to be a living, breathing thing because your workplace is always changing, right? And your safety plan needs to change right along with it.
So, when do you look at it again? Well, you should definitely check in at least once a year. But there are other triggers too. Something goes wrong, even a close call, time for review. You get some new piece of equipment, review it. New people start or roles change? Yep, you guessed it, review it. The whole point is to keep it fresh and relevant. So let's wrap this up with a final thought, a question for you to take away. After all this, what's one thing, just one small risk in your own workplace that you could do something about tomorrow? It doesn't have to be huge, because that's really where it all starts. That one small step is how you build a real culture of safety.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you never miss our new upcoming video.